Hey, welcome to Think Thursday from the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast. Think Thursday is all about your beautiful, brilliant human brain. We're talking neuroscience. We're talking behavior change. We are talking about your mindset. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Hey there, welcome back to Think Thursday from the Alcohol Minimalist. You know, Think Thursdays are all about our beautiful, brilliant human brains. They're a time to slow down, get curious about how the brain actually works, because I believe that when we understand our brain better, we are able to work with it and not against it. And that is especially important when we are working on creating sustainable change. And so today I want to start with something foundational. Our brains evolved to use discomfort as feedback. Discomfort wasn't meant to be avoided at all costs. It was information. It told us when to move, like get out of the way, there's a predator coming. It told us when to rest. The sun's going down or the sun's coming up, so don't go to bed now. That's uncomfortable. It told us when to pay attention, when to problem solve, and when something in our environment needed adjusting. Discomfort helped guide behavior. But now we're living in a world of instant gratification and instant relief. When something feels uncomfortable, physically, emotionally, mentally, there's almost always an immediate way to make it go away. And in that environment, something important changes. If discomfort is always removed quickly, then the brain stops learning from it. So today's episode is about this idea. In a world designed to eliminate discomfort, we may need to practice intentionally around it. Specifically, I'm going to say we're going to talk about intentional discomfort as a way to support brain health and create something known as a hedonic reset. Now, this was a topic that was sparked for me by a conversation I heard on the Mel Robbins podcast with psychiatrist Dr. Anna Lembke, who I've also had on the podcast here, and really talking about her book, Dopamine Nation. And I want to expand on it today through a different or a more broader neuroscience lens and a behavior change lens. So one of the most helpful things to understand about the brain is this. Its primary goal is regulation, not comfort. Discomfort is one of the brain's most important signaling systems. It's how the nervous system communicates that something needs attention, adjustment, or engagement. In earlier environments, responding to discomfort required effort. It required movement. It required problem solving. It required waiting. It required interaction with the environment. Today, discomfort often triggers immediate relief with very little effort. And when relief becomes automatic, the brain learns a new rule. Discomfort is something to eliminate, not something to interpret. And that shift has consequences for motivation, for satisfaction, and for resilience. I talk all the time about becoming more emotionally resilient. And part of being more emotionally resilient is actually allowing discomfort to be there. One of the biggest changes affecting brain health today is the concentration of reward paired with minimal effort. From a neuroscience perspective, this is a major environmental mismatch. Food is engineered to deliver intense reward quickly. Entertainment provides constant novelty on demand. Shopping, gambling, streaming, and scrolling remove friction almost entirely. The brain evolved in environments where reward followed effort. Now, reward often comes first, and effort is optional. Dr. Anna Lemke describes the brain as operating on a balance between pleasure and discomfort. When pleasure becomes highly concentrated, effortless, constantly available, the brain compensates, not as punishment, but as regulation. Over time, this can show up as a lower baseline satisfaction, increased restlessness, reduced tolerance for boredom or effort, and a persistent sense that something is missing. This is hedonic adaptation happening in real time. And to help offset that, or to avoid it, or to compensate, or not compensate, but to actually take action to make that better, a hedonic reset might be actually what we want to do. A hedonic reset isn't about removing all the enjoyment from your life, but it is about restoring balance. It means giving the brain space away from constant stimulation so it can recalibrate what enough feels like. And that recalibration often feels uncomfortable at first. Not because something is wrong, but because the nervous system has become accustomed to frequent relief. When stimulation pauses, the brain has to regulate itself again. And that's where intentional discomfort becomes a tool rather than a threat. Intentional discomfort doesn't mean suffering or pushing yourself to extremes. It means allowing mild, manageable discomfort to exist without immediately trying to eliminate it. Boredom, restlessness, the urge to escape a feeling, choosing effort over ease. Neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman explains that dopamine, the neurotransmitter that is involved in motivation and anticipation, works in waves. Every spike is followed by a dip. And when rewards are frequent and effortless, those dips deepen. Baseline motivation drops. The brain becomes less sensitive to everyday satisfaction. But when effort, delay, and discomfort are part of the process, dopamine signaling stabilizes over time. The brain relearns how to feel engaged and motivated without constant stimulation. From a behavior change perspective, this is where distress tolerance becomes essential. Distress tolerance is the ability to experience discomfort without immediately reacting to it. Each time you stay present with discomfort and discover that you're still okay, the nervous system learns something important. This isn't dangerous. I don't need to fix this immediately. I can stay with this. Habit researcher James Clear talks about how identity follows behavior. Repeatedly choosing the aligned but slightly uncomfortable option builds trust in yourself, not through motivation, but through repetition. Over time, discomfort doesn't disappear. It simply loses its urgency. Before we close, I want to offer a very gentle experiment you can try this week. Nothing extreme, nothing performative, just observational. Pick one moment each day when you notice mild discomfort and pause instead of fixing it. Not intense distress, just low-level discomfort. Boredom, restlessness, the urge to reach for stimulation. People have actually built a challenge around this called the Standing in Line Challenge. And it's sounds exactly like it is. So being the place that is often a place where boredom or restlessness or the urge to distract yourself on your phone might take over, challenge yourself to, instead of doing any of those things, just allow yourself to be uncomfortable as you wait in line. All right? So maybe that's your gentle experiment to try this week. And just remember, set a timer if you want to, if that helps. I don't know if you can do it on your phone. I guess that would kind of just, that would sort of, maybe, well, you get the idea. If you're trying to avoid your phone, then I'm not sure setting a timer on it would be helpful. But if setting a timer helps you allow boredom to be there for a bit, then go ahead and do it. Notice, where do you feel boredom or agitation or restlessness in your body? Describe to yourself what that feeling feels like. My shoulders get tense. My jaw starts to clench. What thoughts show up? Whether does the sensation change on its own over time? Because oftentimes what you'll notice is things feel really intense right in the beginning, but they dissipate very quickly. Don't force this. Don't resist it. Just stay present and really notice what's happening. What you're doing in that moment is teaching your nervous system that discomfort is tolerable and it's temporary. And that's how a hedonic reset begins. It begins quietly. It begins gently through awareness. Over time, you start to build up, options, and you make those periods of discomfort, or you choose multiple periods of discomfort, right? So you start to decide to do something on a daily basis. That's the kind of thing that we're going to start doing. Here's something I want to offer in terms of a reframe. Discomfort isn't a problem to solve. It is information to work with. In a culture built around instant relief and concentrated rewards, discomfort can feel alarming. But neurologically, it's just a sign that the brain is recalibrating. A small amount of intentional discomfort today helps protect motivation, satisfaction, and resilience for the long term. That's not about discipline. It's about supporting how the brain is designed to function. Now, if you've been feeling restless or flat or easily dissatisfied, it doesn't necessarily mean you need more stimulation or better self-care. It may mean that your brain is asking for more balance, more effort, more pause, more space between impulse and reaction. That's where brain health is supported. That's where clarity returns. And that's where sustainable change begins. That's all I have for you this week, my friends. Until next time, choose peace, and I will see you on Monday.